Well, let's talk about Amazon and what's wrong with it. So in today's video, I'll be sharing with you my 6 reasons. They are actually very extensive reasons why you should probably stop shopping at Amazon and look at alternatives whenever it's possible. Earlier in 2020, I decided to ditch my Amazon Prime subscription and avoid shopping at Amazon, mostly for sustainable reasons, but also for other reasons as well. And obviously, after a while not using Amazon, I feel two very conflicting feelings. One feeling is that I'm really proud of myself because I wanted to get away from Amazon a long time ago, and I have lots of reasons for that I will be talking in this video. But at the same time, I felt really compelled going back to the convenience because sometimes I don't know where to buy the item, and Amazon is just so convenient, just order and it's going to be here in a couple of days. And because I felt like I'm spending so much energy looking for alternatives, I decided to make clear for myself and as well as share with my subscribers what are the enormous amount of reasons not to shop at Amazon. I mean, we all understand that Amazon is probably not the best place to shop, but the convenience always wins. And I want you to understand the reasons that make me personally, when I think of them, and especially when I dig deep, when I read something about Amazon, just make me so disgusted that I don't want to be convenient anymore and just go to Amazon. I'm really ready to go to the certain extent, to spend some extra energy, but to do anything to avoid shopping at Amazon. Anyway, let's go to my reasons. I came up with at least 6 enormous, gigantic reasons not to shop Amazon. Let me name those reasons. Later I will go deep into each of the reasons. First of all, Amazon really doesn't care what they sell. They have no responsibility for the quality or for the fact that the item sometimes doesn't match the description. They don't give a crap about that. Besides that, Amazon does many other things that prove that they run an unethical business where they don't care about their labor, they don't care about their sellers or anything besides growth and money, I guess. The third reason is that they enable unethical businesses. There are many counterfeit items on Amazon. There are many items that are greenwashing. There are many items that say one thing, but they are not what they are, and Amazon knows about that, but they say, no, we're just a platform, how we can control that. If you buy something from other store and this item turns out to be counterfeit, that store will be responsible for that, but Amazon doesn't. The fourth reason that's quite obvious, but we're going to go more into detail. The Amazon is so gigantic that they actually kill industries. They destroy whole industries. They have a bad impact on the small business and on lots of different little niche industries, which doesn't help the economy. And since we're speaking about economy, the fifth reason I don't want to shop at Amazon, the way how Amazon operates, they avoid paying taxes. And if a company doesn't pay taxes, that means this company doesn't benefit to the economy, it doesn't benefit to anything, to the growth of the economy, to the impact to the communities and stuff like that. And I really hate that the company as big as Amazon doesn't really pay any taxes. At least until a couple of years ago, they didn't pay any taxes at all because they didn't have profit. Come on. And last but not least, Amazon is not very sustainable. Even though sometimes they do things like, oh, let us invest some money into climate change. But they do so much harm on the basis of their own company, that's almost a joke that they try to do something else and don't fix the internal problems. And speaking of sustainability, there are things that are on the surface, things like they use so much packaging that it's not even appropriate to the items they ship, and other things as well. And speaking about packaging, you all know all these jokes when you order, a pen on Amazon and it arrives in a giant box. Do you know what I received in this gigantic box? I ordered this road atlas and it arrived in this box. Oh wait, I almost forgot the last reason. That's maybe part of sustainability, or maybe it's a separate reason. They promote the consumerism. That doesn't help the sustainability or climate change. America is one of the countries on earth that consumes the most amount of stuff. It doesn't matter what industry we take. It can be apparel, it can be clothing items, it can be, gadgets, electronics, anything. America consumes the most amount of stuff. And not because you have a bigger population, but also you consume per capita much more than any other country consumes. And thanks to Amazon, these numbers just skyrocket every year. Okay, but let's start diving deep into all the reasons I mentioned. The reason why I really hate Amazon and why I think we shouldn't support a company like that, because they take no responsibility for what is sold on their websites. And this term, not taking responsibility, can be applied to so many different areas. Amazon sells counterfeit items. For example, me as a blogger, I buy lots of gadgets from Rode. It's a company that does microphones and everything connected to that. And I would usually buy them from Amazon, but I stopped doing that because one day I went to the website of Rode itself, and there was a huge warning message on the website that please guys don't buy from Amazon. Amazon sells counterfeit items. How is it possible that this is happening? But then when I started diving deep, I realized that there are more other brands that actually stopped selling on Amazon altogether because them selling on Amazon that just promotes other companies to sell counterfeit items. For example, never buy Birkenstock from Amazon, never buy Nike from Amazon. Most probably those items will be counterfeit. And it really sucks because us as a consumer, we trust Amazon, especially Amazon always tells like, oh, consumer is the number one. So we trust them. But in reality, what Amazon does, there is no check for the items that are sold off Amazon. These items are never checked by anyone if they actually have a, a decent quality, if they pass through certifications they have to be passed here in America. Amazon doesn't do anything. They say like, it's sellers, it's not us. And you would say like, yeah, I guess they shouldn't be responsible for that. But other stores are responsible and they will be liable if any of their products that are sold, I don't know, in Walmart, Target, those big giants as well, those guys will be responsible if they sell any counterfeit item or if they sell any fake item or any item that is hazardous or like low quality. The crazy part, when you sign up for Amazon in their terms and services, in that terms and services, it actually says explicitly that Amazon doesn't assume any responsibility. Let's say you buy something from Amazon, I don't know, some gadget, and then this gadget burn your house to crisp. Amazon says we are not liable. There is actually numerous cases when Amazon was proven to sell some hazardous items or some like toys for kids that actually were too dangerous because they were leaking toxins or they were using some materials that are not allowed here in America because they never will pass any check or any certification or any quality check. But because Amazon just sells random stuff without checking it, anything can be sold.
South Carolina woman who bought a hairdryer on Amazon said this happened.
Fire is coming out of the hairdryer.
Amazon's approach has had consequences.
A hoverboard caused a fire that destroyed their home.
Dangerous products were flagged by authorities in Washington state.
Found dozens of school supplies that had high levels of toxic metals.
And a recent report found thousands of banned, unsafe, or mislabeled products.
There are even like crazy cases that were covered by different media, starting from BuzzFeed, super mainstream video, to media like Wall Street Journal. For example, in August 2019, the Wall Street Journal reported that they had found more than 4,000 items for sale on Amazon that had been declared unsafe by federal agencies, that had misleading labels, or had been banned by federal regulation. There are so many items that are unsafe and any other store would not be able to sell them. Only Amazon can. Another thing that there are lots of items that would claim like, oh, this item, like let's say it's clothing item, oh, this item is made from linen or made from cotton or tencel. But the problem is Amazon, since Amazon doesn't check any claims, the sellers on Amazon can say whatever, and whatever you receive might not be it. If you're here in America and you buy something from Amazon, most American consumers assume that they are buying from American sellers, from American stores. They're just going to be shipped by Amazon, which is untrue. And there is a stat that almost half of Amazon sellers are actually based in China and lots of items are shipped from China. I mean, I have nothing against China, but if I wanted to buy something from China, I would just go to AliExpress and order from there. The same story and 10 times cheaper. And basically what pisses me off about Amazon a lot, that it turned into AliExpress. For people in America who don't know, there is a website in China, it's called aliexpress.com. And it's the same like marketplace as Amazon, and you can order things there. And most of the items you see on Amazon, you can also find on AliExpress, and they're going to be at least 5 times cheaper. Now AliExpress got a little bit more expensive because I guess it's more expensive for them to ship to America because of, trade war. But back then, I remember you just find something, I don't know, let's say let's say I have this mask, yeah, you would find this mask for, I don't know, $10 on Amazon, let's say, and then you go to AliExpress and it's going to be $1 or $2. Again, I don't mind people ordering something from China, but first of all, most of the consumers of Amazon are not aware that the items will be shipped from China. And for me personally, if I'm, like concerned about sustainability, I don't want like a mask being shipped to me from China. I want something to be shipped from me from the warehouses located at least here in America. And the last but not least thing that actually pisses me off about Amazon, because this company is so huge and so powerful. So whenever a problem occurs, for example, like a while ago, Amazon was sued by some counties in California because they greenwashed their consumers, because some of the items sold of Amazon promised like being biodegradable, eco and stuff like that. So what Amazon did when they were sued by the some counties, they just settled, because the Amazon is has so much money and so much power. For them, instead of actually going and auditing and creating systems that prevent sellers to greenwash you, they just settle. Money they spend on lawyers to fight this thing and settle this thing in court or settle it before court. For them, it's just expense that they can that becomes a tax write-off. So for them, they're not losing nothing. That's why they don't pay taxes. They just have extra expenses. That's why it's easier for them actually to just settle whenever the problem arises than to do anything. Technically, as I said, they support unethical business. Some things I already mentioned before. If you want to sell fake items on Amazon, you can easily do that. If you want to sell something that's eco, but it's not eco because it's never certified, you can sell that. You can sell any item and say like, oh, it's a high quality, blah, 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 but nobody checked. It might be the lowest quality, but since nobody gonna audit you, since you're not even liable, you can do whatever. So for me, the company that allows sellers just to do whatever, to use any claims, that's promoting unethical businesses. There were also numerous cases when Amazon was caught in things like, for example, some people would sell some super racist or super offensive items. And again, because there is no audit, nobody checks what's actually sold on Amazon, those things will be there. The biggest probably thing about Amazon that they actually kill the industries, they destroy small businesses and stuff like that. I guess you all know that Amazon started with the book industry when they first started selling books online, which doesn't seem like a bad thing. But the problem is when Amazon became really huge, they have too much power over anyone in the book industry. I mean, they have too much power against publishing houses, they have too much power against the bookstores and anything related to books. And basically there are, proven cases when Amazon would take a small publishing house that is already barely scraping, to publish books, and they would distort them for crazy rates. They would ask for more and more like margin. So basically this publishing house would not even make any money selling something on Amazon. But Amazon doesn't care. And if the publishing house decides, especially a small one, decides to resist and say like, oh, like we're not going to give you this deal, they're just going to squeeze it out from the market completely. And the way how they do it, they actually use a very unethical approach. For example, let's say I published this book, and Amazon comes to me and says, oh, you have to sell this book, I don't know, for like $1 to me. And I'm like, wait, if I sell it for $1 to you, I'm not going to make any money. And Amazon, not my problem. And you're like, okay, F-U-C-K, Amazon, I'm not going to give you my book for $1. Then Amazon says, okay, well enough, that's your right. And then like, hey, wait a minute, what's the competitor to this book? Oh, this book is a competitor to this book. How about we do the following? When somebody searches Amazon for this book, we're gonna randomly pop up this book instead. So imagine if you're a publishing house or you're an author, you understand that your competitor gonna always show up in a search result when your book is being searched for. Of course, you're like, damn it, I have to go and settle for this deal with Amazon. So basically, the way how they approach, they just seriously like almost like kill any business. There are other also examples when they buy competitor businesses and just don't develop them. For example, you all know that there is a service Goodreads for people who read books, so they can actually have a record of the books they read, they can leave reviews and stuff like that. I am a Goodreads user, at least I used to be. Now I'm trying to go away from it. So Amazon bought Goodreads, and then after that they also bought other similar companies. For example, there was a brand, there was a website called Shelfari. They bought this website because it's a competitor, and guess what? They're not doing nothing to this website because they want this website to die, and this way they're not going to have any competition. And also I feel bad that I even ordered this. You know, books is something that you should never buy from Amazon. Amazon destroyed the book industry, and just continue buying books from them. It's just the worst thing you can do. And when I think of Amazon as a business, it's such a gigantic company. The data from last year shows that around 100 million people in America are users of Amazon Prime. How many more are not Prime members, but they still order something on Amazon? And this is the data from before 2020. I'm sure the numbers skyrocketed this year. I think it's between 50 to 70% of sales in America, online sales in America, are actually happening via Amazon. Do you understand that every second online purchase is done through Amazon? And I don't think it's a healthy way to run a business. Technically, Amazon is going towards monopoly, and they are going to monopolize the business, and they have so much power that they can actually do whatever. And this is what scares me, you know, like for somebody who's not just a consumer, but somebody who has an economics degree. When I look at things like kind of like at the bigger, you know, like at the bigger picture, that really scares me when one company becomes so big. That's why companies like Google or Facebook or other companies, I used to be a big fan of them when they just started, because they seem like to be so innovative, so like, you know, like breakthrough ideas and stuff like that. But now I don't support these companies anymore, because unfortunately, unless the company is running a sustainable business, unfortunately we can't have those companies so big, because they really harm the industry, they harm the economy, because when they become so big, they can do whatever they want. The problem with Amazon that most people don't even understand how much they own and how many things they constantly buy. Amazon is owning lots of stuff. I was trying to research what they own and also in what companies they have a huge amount of stakes. Amazon owns Whole Foods and Audible. I guess those things we all know. They also own Goodreads, which lots of people don't know. They also own IMDb, that's a website for the movies reviews and stuff like that. They also own Twitch, that's a streaming service. They also own a Washington Post, you know. So now if you read the Washington Post, this company is very much influenced by what Amazon wants you to think. They also own Zappos, and they also have lots of investments into different healthcare companies. For example, they own an online pharmacy pill pack, but I never used it, so maybe some of you know it. And stuff like this. They also own huge stakes in some like big online retailers. For example, Amazon owns a lot at pets.com, gear.com, fabric.com, drugstore.com. You understand? The plan of Amazon is to slowly expand into all these categories and probably become number one retailer. I mean, they're already number one retailer, but probably to become, I don't know, a real monopoly in online sales. And especially this year, you have to understand that 2020, I think, was really crazy. I would love to see the statistics, that will show up next year. What happened to Amazon this year? I'm sure they're skyrocketed their, operations and sales and everything. And I'm sure it's killing small businesses. It kills the brick and mortar stores, the actual stores. It also kills the small online stores, because I read sometimes when people say like, yeah, but I can just pay, Prime membership to Amazon and I get a delivery for free. That's why I can all day long order things. I can order, like if I need a pen, I just order a pen instead of, going to, to actual store next door and just buying this pen. And it sucks, because that's gonna kill the small businesses, and soon we're gonna only have Amazon. And since Amazon have like this, mostly selling the same crappy items that made very irresponsibly, very low quality in China, I don't know where we are all heading, to be honest, by being Amazon consumers. Let's talk about taxes. As I said before, Amazon is not really good in paying taxes, and I even remember like a while ago somebody was saying like, come on, don't attack Amazon, they're not even profitable, they're barely making any money. Not making money and being not profitable, this is a good way to say like, oh, poor Amazon, we should help it. But come on guys, the company that makes half of sales, or half of online sales in America, seriously does make money, seriously is very poor? Come on, that's bullshit, because the problem is the way how you can do your finances here in America. You don't pay taxes if you have lots of expenses. Let me give you an example. Let's say I'm a freelancer. I decided to do, I don't know, let's say some editing job. To start my editing job as a freelancer, I need to buy a laptop, I need to buy a new, I don't know, chair, desk, maybe I need to even rent a apartment with an extra room that can be my office. And all these things I'm mentioning can be my expenses. So by the end of the year, let's say I made, I don't know, $100,000 doing my freelancing. But most of this money I spent on renting my office, I spent on maybe doing some business trips, some business expenses, buying some gadgets that I needed my work, maybe paying for some subscription. So in the end of the year, I might be actually not very profitable as a business, so I don't need to pay taxes. But doesn't mean I don't make money, I just know how to hide my expenses. Or I can even buy like some gifts to my clients, because either I just pay it in taxes or I just use it as tax write-off because it's some business gift and stuff like that. So this way, the big companies, it's actually easy for them to avoid taxes, because everything is a business expense. So when you talk about big companies or somebody who can make a lot of money, you have to understand that taxing them more, is not going to work, because they will just find a way to tax write-off everything. So it should be a completely different approach than how companies should be forced to pay somewhat of tax and not to write off all the taxes, especially companies as big as Amazon. So to give you more like actually factual data, there is information from 2017 and 18 that Amazon paid no federal taxes. Imagine a company as big as that paid zero. Like all of us, even I paid some tax. And I'm only a few years in America. And Amazon didn't pay any tax. And also for 2017 and 2018, Amazon actually received tax refunds worth of millions of dollars, despite they actually had $1 billion of profits each year. The way how they did it, the way how they could make their tax bill zero, because they took advantage of provisions in years before when they were losing money. So again, it's just a very smart accountant that can make you have a tax refund when you're on Amazon. That's a joke. So while we are consuming our little things on Amazon, constantly ordering something from Amazon, Amazon is receiving tax refunds. Perfect. Another problem that, I don't know, maybe it's not part of the tax problem, but another problem that I see here in America, and Amazon is involved in that, America is a country where lobby is really bad. So if some company hires some very good, smart lobbyist, that person can, steer the communities, the governments, whatever cities in your favor. They know how to lobby things that you get more favorable position. And Amazon was also criticized for lobbying. For example, in 2019, Amazon spent almost $17 million for lobby programs. And they had a team of 104 lobbyists to take care of their business. Poor company, no profits, because, okay, you have lots of business expenses. You need to pay $16 million for somebody to lobby your shit for you. I don't know, guys. The more I dive deep into Amazon, it makes me really disgusted that I actually even was a Prime member and that, I ordered that thing. So let's talk about unethical business that Amazon does. First of all, the way how Amazon does, because they're not a very ethical company, they don't really care about consumers or sellers or anything, although they say that they do, but they don't. The bad stuff about Amazon that they have too much power, and what they often do, they can, for example, collect data, internal data, what things are sold, what items are sold the best. They know everything, because they are a system who created this, so they know exactly what it is. So it's a known fact that Amazon would find some basic items that are sold the most on Amazon. I don't know, bulbs, I don't know, some cords, I don't know, like little things, I don't know, like this. And they would create their own, they created their own brand, you probably saw it, Amazon Basics. So basically, first they collected the data from their sellers to see what sold the best, and then they're like, oh, wait a minute, why would we just make commission? And their commission is quite high, by the way. Why would we just make a commission? How about we just create our own item and just sell it instead? Because now they know the market. So this is not a very, like fair approach. And to be honest, if Amazon says like, oh, we are just a marketplace, then they shouldn't be allowed, them or any companies affiliated with them, any of their proprietary businesses should not be allowed to sell on Amazon. If you guys want to be just a logistic company and a marketplace, be that. Be my guest. But then you're not allowed to sell something, but they do. And obviously, because they create lots of devices like Alexa and other things, Amazon, as all big tech giants, they are known for spying on us, collecting data, selling this data to God knows whom, and stuff like that. And I know this issue is funny because sometimes people feel like, I felt the same. I'm like, oh, I don't care if somebody spies on me. I don't have any secrets. The problem is not in secrets. The problem is not that you have something to hide, that Amazon is interested, like what TikToks I watch on my phone. The problem is that when company knows too much about you, they can influence your choices. And it's a known fact that you might not even want to buy something, but if the company knows that you research, let's say like I got myself into this beautiful hobby of embroidery, and I was just Googling, like, should I start embroidery? How much these things cost and stuff like that. And then I just decided like, I don't know if I want to start embroidery. Maybe it's too complicated. Maybe I don't have enough time. But Amazon knows that you were searching for it, you were Googling for it, you were talking to your friends about it. And they start like randomly pushing you like ads. And you're like, oh, wait a minute, that's not actually expensive. How about I buy it? And you would think like, no, but if I actually need it, what's better than them, like showing me? The problem is that, first of all, it promotes consumerism. You wouldn't even buy something because you don't feel enough need for this item. You're like, no, I'm not going to Google for it. But if it's something that's spoon-fed into your screen, you're going to buy it. And second, it's just ethically, I don't have any secrets, but ethically, I don't want company to make decisions for me. I don't want companies to use my data and decide not only what items to force me, into me, but also what brands. Because another problem with Amazon that they choose what brands to push. When you go to Amazon and let's say you need to buy new socks, and then you type, I don't know, sports socks, and then you get a search results. What shows up at the top result is probably what you're gonna buy. So basically, what Amazon can do, they can, study your data, know what's your preference, I don't know, in terms of colors or whatever. Like for example, they know that you're a sustainable freak, so they're gonna force something that says, sustainable eco fabric. But then what Amazon can do, they can go to their sellers and said, hey guys, pay me extra so we promote you. Hey guys, pay me extra if you want to show up this and that. So, they can use this data not only to force items on you without you knowing it, but they can also use this data to manipulate the sellers, and charge sellers the extra. Otherwise, they would say like, oh, if you don't pay me, you're not going to show up in the top results. And your business is done. Technically, about Alexa, there is a known fact that that actually bugs me a lot, that they're actually hiring people that are sitting there in their little, booth, and they're listening to Alexa recorded conversations and they're transcribing it. That's what all tech giants do, and I understand there is no stopping to that. I'm not naive about that, but it bugs me, and I'm like, never ever I'll buy Alexa, Amazon. They probably already infiltrated my house because maybe this box has a listening device. I'm not crazy about somebody listening to me, and I don't care that they do that, but it bugs me because I believe it's absolutely unethical when they do it without my concern without my consent. The worst part about Amazon is that they have very unethical labor approach, and it's especially like almost a joke to me when people in sustainable community or people who start like researching something, we really care about switching from fast fashion to sustainable fashion, switching to items that are like locally grown, locally made, because we are aware how something that's produced far away can be used can be produced very unethically. We all know about sweat factories, how people are, working in absolutely horrible conditions and stuff like that. But what most Americans don't know, Amazon workers, I mean, not the office people, I don't know about them, but people who work in the warehouses, people who work in this, it's called fulfillment centers, where your boxes are sorted, packed, and sent to you. These people most of the time work in absolutely horrible conditions, and those places are actually modern sweat factories. And while me as a consumer, I'm thinking like, oh, I'm not gonna buy something from this T-shirt made in China because maybe this person wasn't treated well. I don't want that. But then if I buy something from Amazon, somebody who packed something into the box that would be delivered to me was also treated absolutely unfairly.
You have security cameras right behind you at all times that are looking at you 24/7, and if you don't meet standards or the rates, you're out the door, you're just disposable.
Every worker has a scanner at all times that basically track exactly where you're at.
And they have a little blue line at the bottom of the screen, and it has like how many seconds that you have to have it done by the time it hits 0. And it puts you into panic mode.
And pretty much you can't talk to people. You can't be in the same aisle as them. You just constantly have to sit there scanning like a robot all day long. If they catch you not scanning, you get a write-up.
We're not treated as human beings. We're not even treated as robots. We're treated as part of the data stream.
If you want to know more about this, there is a great movie about Amazon. It's called, I think, Amazon Empire. Yeah, it was done by PBS Frontline. They do actually lots of documentaries about different issues. And you can actually watch this documentary for free. And lots of things that I mentioned here are probably better explained in this movie. And I will probably use some of the clips from this movie. I hope they don't copyright strike me for that. Yeah, so in this movie, they talk a lot about unethical labors. They interview some of the people who worked for Amazon, and they explain how, let's say, like Amazon hub arrives in your wherever you live, in your region, in your city, and you're excited because finally you can get a job. And the way how Amazon it promotes to other consumers, they're like, we are creating jobs, but what kind of jobs they're creating? That's like a hell jobs. So people get excited. They think like, oh, I'm so excited. This Amazon fulfillment center showed up in my community. I can finally get a job. Maybe I can make a career. Maybe I can have a better life for my family. But after working them for a while, you understand there is no career growth there. There is no way you can stay working there longer because the conditions are horrible and also the workload is horrible. When I talk about condition, there is a great example. There was was it in Idaho, I think? The warehouse where people was working was 110 degrees. 110 degrees, it's something like 40 degrees Celsius. It was freaking hot in this warehouse, and people were not only forced to work their full shift, the way how the work was done, people have to walk a lot, because they walk from one aisle to another, or they're like packing those boxes. So the conditions were crazy. And when people started complaining about that, it's like absolutely, crazy. It's impossible to work there. How Amazon responded, and this is, the way how Amazon responds to these things. That just shows the way how they care about anything. They're like, oh yeah, people I guess pass out because it's too hot in the working place. What can we do about that? We can just bring some ERs, emergency vehicles. So they just park some emergency vehicles outside. So if somebody passed out, at least we don't need to bring them to the hospital. This probably saves them some cost. But we just can have some paramedics look at this person. And besides the fact that it's like, that's not a solution. That's a freaking band-aid on a giant, cut. giant like opening one. The problem is the solution that sometimes people would be sent back to warehouse because this paramedic would be, oh no, this person is fine, they just passed out, everything is good. Or there was a story of this guy who actually something hit him on the head in the warehouse. He got his concussion. He went to this, ER, and the ER said like, don't blame the ER. It's ER affiliated by Amazon. And they said like, oh no, you're okay. Just go back to your workplace. And then this person like, had a crazy like, injuries after that or even died. And Amazon is not responsible because they know not this person, other person, because when they open their, warehouse in some areas where there are not enough jobs, they will always find people who need jobs and who would do whatever just to get any jobs. And that's how Amazon does it. Another way how they're like, okay, let's say they figured out and it's not hot anymore, or, in this particular warehouse, there is another problem. The workload is crazy. They want you to work very fast. So there is like a clock ticking, how fast you should pack your packaging. So if you ever wondered, and I wondered a lot to be honest, why would somebody pack a small book? Why would somebody pack a small book in this box? Now I understand why. These people are on the timer. The timer is ticking like this, and they have to constantly people literally have to work like this. They don't have time like, what packaging I use for this box? Maybe this one. No, this one is not good. Oh, maybe I put it together with this pen and I pack it I pack it together in a small box. No, these people don't have time for that. Their clock is ticking, and they have every second they have to pack. That's why I just grab whatever, shove it there, stick it, send it further. So, every time when you blame somebody like an Amazon worker for not delivering your item in the right way, or for throwing your item, for packing like a small pan in a giant box, don't blame people. They're forced into the conditions that if they're not going to fulfill their job in time, they're going to be penalized. And also, in this movie, they interviewed these workers and they said, even if you actually keep up with your speed and you think like, oh yeah, finally I figured out how to work fast, most probably when they're going to look at you and see that you're working faster, what they're going to do? They're going to increase your target. Also, I know this quite good from the perspective of the person who works in delivery. And he says every time he goes to fulfillment center, it's a freaking zoo. You can tell that it's constantly turnover of people, because obviously people just leave this job because it's unbearable, and people are not well trained. Most of the time, it's how he calls it a clusterfuck, because he said it's always a zoo there, it's never organized, and sometimes he goes to pick up his orders, to deliver it later, and sometimes he has to wait 1 hour in the warehouse because nothing is done, everything is collapsed, the system is not working, or something is not working. And obviously nobody is paying for this extra hour of work. And also every year you can see how Amazon hiring more and more Amazon drivers, like Amazon, it's called Amazon Flex delivery drivers. And the way how these drivers are hired, it's crazy, because every year almost it seems like the rates are dropping, because they maybe pay you the same amount of money, but they give you more boxes to deliver, or these boxes are too spread apart, or also it's a joke how they have their proprietary map that drivers use to deliver those boxes, but in reality sometimes you just use this map and you end up in a random place, and it says like the map tells you, oh, you arrived, you have to deliver your order right here, but there is no house, or actually the entrance to the house is on the other side and you have to run around for 3 blocks to get to the actual entrance. So Amazon spies on us, they collect our data, they spend so much money knowing everything about us, but they can't improve as simple as organizational system in the fulfillment center, in the delivery hubs. They can't create better map. And even the way how they, for those of you who don't know, how those delivery drivers get their jobs, actually get their tasks. First of all, those delivery drivers, they are in most situations, they are individual contractors, which means they work for themselves and they have no health insurance, no paid vacation, they get nothing. So if they get sick, that's their problem. they basically get unpaid. So it's very convenient for Amazon. So that means Amazon is not paying, taxes for, towards unemployment. They're not paying any insurance. They're not paying any medical bills, nothing. It's very convenient for them. And the way how people acquire their jobs, basically they constantly have to sit with their little phones, and those jobs pop up. Let's say it would say like, $60, 2-hour block. And within this 2-hour block, you have to deliver a certain amount of items. It's not going to tell you, you're going to know it when you arrive in the delivery hub, and you have to click it as fast as possible. So the way how they do it, like I see like people like being super stressed because it's very hard, how they call it, to grab those blocks. It's not that you open your app and it tells you, oh, you have these deliveries to do today, and then you agree or disagree to do them. No, you just have to sit there and constantly like refresh the button and make sure you grab it. If you have any of your family members who or anyone ever like talk to anyone who does Amazon delivery. For me personally, I don't know how people can do it. I understand why they have to do it, because I know one of my family members has to do it. But for me, it's like almost I don't know. For me, it's almost disrespectful for human beings that the person actually wants to do this job, and instead of being distributed this job, this person has to spend half an hour every 3 hours just like squishing this button and trying to get a block because somebody else gonna grab it faster than you. Come on, Amazon, if you have too many drivers, maybe you shouldn't be hiring new ones if you have not enough jobs for everyone. But they create this sense of they create this sense of, oh my God, there is not enough job, I have to grab this block. Oh my God, this rate dropped. Yesterday they paid me $60 and now they pay me $40, but I have to grab it because there will be no other blocks for me to fulfill. That means I wouldn't be able to feed my family. The way how they do it, it's really, really disgusting, and I think it's disrespecting for human beings to even, I don't know, Amazon is disgusting. How many hours is this video? This video is probably already an hour long, and I'm super disgusted. There are other things that, how Amazon actually doesn't really run an ethical business, to be honest. They have lots of loopholes they're using to actually avoid a regular way how other businesses run their business. Like, for example, Amazon has like little trucks that deliver like the packages, but they use small vans for a particular reason. Because bigger trucks, let's say UPS trucks or like FedEx trucks, those bigger vehicles, they have to be registered, and actually there is always like public statistics, how many crashes this van went into, how many traffic accidents, so you can see how safe those vehicles are on the road. The joke with Amazon is, first of all, those vans are not owned by Amazon. So Amazon is like, if my Amazon delivery guy does something crazy, it's not me, it's him. It has nothing to do with me. Yeah, maybe I made this person work too much for nothing, but it's not my responsibility. And also, because those vans are so small, they don't need to be registered, and basically they are not regulated by federal, like any federal regulation. And if something happens, this is never in the statistics. So if you look at UPS or other huge delivery companies, you can see how safe they are conducting their business. But with Amazon, you don't know. So nobody can blame them. And there are crazy cases when Amazon delivery, trucks, ran over somebody, created a major accident and stuff like this. But this is not regulated, so it's not, the statistic is not public, so it seems like Amazon is really good. But the way, and again, you can say like, oh, it's not Amazon's fault, but the way how they run the whole business, they almost force these things to happen because they do nothing for those things to be prevented. And the last but not least, Amazon hires lots of people. It's actually like millions of people probably work for Amazon as delivery or warehouses or anything else. And I don't know about the warehouses, it's a different story. Those people are probably on a paywall, but people who are delivery guys, they are individual contractors. That means that Amazon, as I mentioned before, doesn't pay any payroll taxes, doesn't pay any unemployment, and although it's very convenient to be an Amazon delivery driver because you have a flexible schedule, you can decide when to work. If you want to go to vacation, you can just go. But in reality, the way how it works, most of these delivery guys actually work full-time, but they don't get the benefits of full-time worker. I used to think like, it's okay, just like because you get a flexible schedule, you actually technically, like that's what you get, for being flexible. But the reality is, if these people actually work full-time, they should get something, and Amazon should be forced to have at least something, like medical expenses covered, maybe unemployment and stuff like that. And the crazy part is what Amazon did when they were actually, like when the talk arose about this, the Amazon was like, what should I do? What should I do about this? They say I have to pay something to people because people work full-time for me, because they work more than 40 hours a week. They're like, easily, we can just cap. So what they did, they just kept people. So for example, if you're Amazon delivery, you can only work, I think, 38 hours, so not 40 or a certain amount of hours when you're not just 1 hour below, so you don't qualify as full-time worker. And they just hired more drivers. So basically, instead of having, let's say, 10 people and paying them whatever they're supposed to pay, they just hired 20 people or 15 people, and they kept other people. So basically, those people who used to make more money on Amazon because they worked 50, 60 hours a week, now they can't even work 50, 60 hours a week. And now they have to find another job, like deliver for, I don't know, Postmates or something else. So it doesn't solve their problem. And last but not least, I don't want to go into detail about Amazon being not sustainable. I already gave you lots of examples how Amazon is not a very ethical business. So of course, thinking that Amazon would care about the environment if it doesn't care about people, doesn't care about the community, doesn't care about the economy, even if they give money, we're going to donate this much money to climate change, it's a tax write-off. Let's not be naive about what it is. It's either a part of their lobby program because they want to do it, because they promised it to somebody, so they definitely going to get something in return, or they probably just want a better PR image. But I don't think, after knowing what I know about Amazon, they do care about the environment, because they have completely different goals. Their goal is to expand, to take over as many online, retail industries as possible, and not only retail, because they're investing into some it was interesting when I watched this movie, and they showed in this movie how Bezos was saying we have to start, going to the space, and we have we overpopulated the planet, we have to go outside. It almost feels like people who believe in not airspace travel, people who I believe in airspace travel as well, but people who think we have to focus going to another planet. It almost seems like these people okay guys, we fucked up this planet, let's find another one. So of course, if somebody has a mentality, we fucked up this planet, we need to find another one, they're not gonna do anything about this one. And this is really sad. Talking about sustainability, I just want to mention one thing. When a company doesn't give a crap that this box is going to be only used once to send something to one consumer, and also Amazon, the way how it promotes consumerism, it makes people seriously ordering pens from Amazon, ordering I don't know, let's say I want to order this little card, I just order it from Amazon, it's going to be delivered to me. They do have some incentive programs do you want to, to get these items delivered together. But even when I chose that I want these items to be delivered together, they never arrive together, to be honest. Plus, of course, beside this beside this box, this thing inside would have some plastic bubbles, some wrappers, some whatever, fillers and stuff like that. And this thing would not be used once. And for me, thinking that if half of Americans are actually Prime, members, Amazon could establish something, let's say it would be reusable boxes, some plastic boxes that they deliver you all your orders. Most people, not most, there are people who receive deliveries from Amazon every day or every other day. Those people definitely should have some reusable boxes. Let's say their crap gets delivered to them, and then next time somebody picks up their box and it redelivers it again. For example, there is a company in the Bay Area, it's a grocery store, it's called Good Egg. They have this practice, they deliver everything in the box. They also put this little ice packs inside, and after you're done, when your next delivery comes, you can actually return those boxes and they're gonna reuse them, the same ice packs. I'm sure Amazon, with the amount of money they have, with the amount of people who work for Amazon, they can easily create something like this, at least as simple as reusable boxes. But do they give a crap? They don't give a crap, because they will need to do extra effort. They're super comfortable just wasting all this paper, and I can't even imagine how much card boxes are discarded every day in America when people order that much crap. I saw statistics somewhere that every minute on Amazon people like spend like $300,000 or every hour, something crazy. And when I hear these numbers, I'm thinking like boxes. I mean, it's super sad, and I don't know. I think it's really disgusting into what Amazon turned out. It used to be a great, convenient business. It's kind of nice when you have delivery, and as I mentioned, for example, with this thing before, yeah, we were like traveling and we needed a new map, and we didn't have time to, because I checked other websites and everywhere delivery was like super long, and Amazon was the only one that would deliver this map next day, so that's why I used it. But after I watched this movie, after I did my research, after I learned everything I told you, now, although sometimes I feel more comfortable ordering something from Amazon, now I almost force myself, like now it's my principle. And what my plan is for the next year, to look for more alternatives and to kind of establish some online shopping routines, especially now in 2020, it's so hard not to shop online. Establish new routines where I actually buy things. And I want to share with you a few alternatives I found so far. At some point I will make another video about that. And I guess here I will conclude this video. I hope this long Amazon rant was useful for some of you. And if it inspires anyone to give up Amazon, at least maybe give up your Prime and only shop Amazon whenever it's absolutely impossible. And also, if you live in America and you have any alternatives to other store better than Amazon, just leave them in the comments below. Let's share with each other where we can shop nowadays if we decide to ditch Amazon for good. That's it for today. See you in my next video, and bye bye. If you're not signed up for this channel, not subscribed, don't forget to subscribe. I would really love to see you in my next video. Bye bye.